Hey, so if you've been watching Vlogmas, you know that I'm a little bit off schedule, but it's all good. I came on here to crank out a few, and I'm realizing that I've been treating Vlogmas like they're my normal videos that I want to do. I love long form content, but Vlogmas is meant to get them in and get them out because we're doing a lot in a row. And the only way I could do long form content during Vlogmas is to not have them during Vlogmas and only schedule them. But this is like real time. And I'm on here no makeup because I have like some stress bumps and things going on. And I got to figure this out. Can't go into 2022 looking all bumped up. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Vernita Glenn White. I go by Dr. V, and I am your brilliant life strategist. I help high achievers, mainly women, but then also a few good men. I help them to expand their brilliance, embrace their brilliance, and helping them to get more personal satisfaction and feeling more fulfilled beyond their positions, titles, and degrees. I help them through a series of coaching programs, coaching conversations, strategies, and things like that by helping them to regain their voice with confidence, to realign with their core values with clarity, and to embrace reinvention with courage. And I can do this personally, directly, like individually with groups. And then I can even take those same concepts and that framework to corporations to help them help their employees to embrace and expand their brilliance. I always like to say this as well because people do ask, and part of, well, no, we're not talking about it right now, but part of what I do and what people really know me for from the trained side of me, I also do some STEM consulting in leadership and building capacity. I do that as a consultant with school districts and universities as well. And that still goes back to the realigning, the reclaiming, and the embracing reinvention. Because if you know, the education profession is, it's an interesting one. All right, so let's get into this Vlogmas day 18-ish, or I should start saying this topic 18 until I get back on track. And one thing that some people ask, or that I find a lot on the internet, and then I also found myself asking, is how to find a coach and mentor and when to hire a coach and mentor. And that is a very good question. And before I really got into this coaching industry, and I always think it's funny because I was an academic, like an instructional academic coach for a few years in a K-12 system. And looking back on that work, it is the same work. My lens was just help people build capacity, understanding mathematics, but it's the same thing. I was helping them build plans. What was your goal? Guiding them to that. Sometimes I told them what to do, and other times I just let them figure it out, but I supported them. And, I held the space for them when things got rough. I stood up for them. So I was like, I technically have more coaching experience than I give myself credit for. But anyway, so coaching and mentoring, I see them as two different things. A lot of other people see them as two different things. So I'm going to read like this example I found. It says, a mentor is someone who shares their knowledge, skills, and or experience to help another to develop and grow. A coach is someone who provides guidance to a client on their goals and helps them reach their full potential. Now, some people may say, well, don't mentors do that? And here's just me, Dr. V, Vernita, personal stance on coaching and mentor before I get into a few things. Mentors can be free, and mentors are necessary, especially when you are in a career path, like a certain career path. I had a mentor when through high school, I was focused on engineering, specifically computer engineering. I started off in college as a computer engineer, and my mentor helped me along the way, gave me guidance about certain things. The only thing that he didn't do was let me know that I didn't have to be a computer engineer. There were all these other types of engineers, but hey, he was a computer engineer. So that is what he focused on. That is the advice he was able to give me and to help me all through high school and that part of college. And then I got another mentor who it was my one of my professors, and I was like, I loved everything that she was doing. I wanted to be just like her. And then she would give her advice on the steps that she took to get to where she was. Anything outside of that, she wasn't able to help, but nor that wasn't her responsibility. I also realized that you can get mentors from anywhere. You can have cyber mentors. I started having cyber mentors based on the books that I was reading, the YouTube videos I was watching, the podcasts I was listening to, and just finding, like, looking at their path to success, if it was something I wanted to do, and watched every single thing that they did. And then through, like, I guess, informal Q&A based on like some stories they shared or their tips, to be able to get that advice and guidance to go to the next level. However, mentors, they have like fixed time, you're on their time. They don't have to meet with you regularly. You catch them when you catch them. They're happy to help, but sometimes they're just not in the space to just give you everything, because some of them are like, well, I worked hard for this, I also want you to work hard for this, but you don't have to get into the same bumps and bruises that I did, right? So some of them will help you that way, and some of them they're just there as a sounding board. And comment down below if you have a different take on what a mentor is. For coaching, another thing I want to say is, like, mentors can come in forms of, most mentors are free, but I say most because I've seen some situations where people pay for mentorship programs, and that means that they get into a space where they get advice freely, regularly from the person who they're seeking. They don't get one-on-one time, but they're like speaking to the masses, and I think those are good as well. But when it comes to coaching is not free. Coaching is, you have a dedicated time with someone right at that moment, and they're pouring into you, they're helping you. It's your time, it's custom, unless it's like a group program with a framework, but even that, they can offer individualization within that as well. But they are really helping you get to the answers that are already inside of you. They don't really tell you what to do. I see mentorship almost like consulting. And then coaching is, I have strategies for you. However, you will gain more out of this experience if you come up with those solutions on your own. It sounds like I'm paying for that to figure something out on my own. I know it sounds odd, but they help you get to the answers sooner, quicker, faster. And then they help you to avoid roadblocks quicker, sooner, faster, especially if it has anything to do with the mind. Depending on a certain industry, if you want to get coached, think about like executives who are at the top of their game and they're moving, and you're like, wow, they're overnight success. Not really. They have coaches and people who shown them like shortcuts. I mean, they had to do the work. That's not what I'm saying, but they show shortcuts like, hey, this took me 5 years, but I can get you down to like 2 years to cut, through some things. So you're really paying for that coach's strategy, expertise, guidance, and accountability. A mentor doesn't really have to hold you accountable, and then some people may say, oh, but my mentor does. Well, in actuality, your mentor is actually coaching you. And if you have that type of mentor, then I would hold tight to them. I've had mentors who shared and poured into me and held me accountable, and they were actually being life coaches before I even understood what the term life coaching was. So that is just my take on that. Mentors are just, they're a little different. They tell you they're really focused on like their particular skill set, and then they will help you and pour into you. And then coaches are more streamlined, more focused, and cater to your desires, your dreams, and your outcomes. How do you find them? Most mentors, you can go get a mentor and say, hey, I want to be like you. Show them how you offer value to them. And then pretty much they kind of, those relationships kind of like naturally form, unless you're really strategic. For some of my mentors, I was very strategic. It was like, hey, I want them. I'm going to stay up under them. I'm going to help out where they can and learn from them. When it came to coaches, it was kind of the same way. I had to figure out what coaches I wanted to work with. Sometimes I didn't do my due diligence, and that's what I want to share with you when it comes to finding a coach. Because mentors, you can just kind of let them go. But when it's a coach, it's like you're investing money. And when I invest, I go for the top of the top. So I don't want to say I wasted thousands of dollars, but that it was just spent not in the right way. The money was going to be spent, but I could have shifted the order in which the money was spent to get the maximum return. So with coaching, I would suggest that you follow a few people, and you're not always going to find everything you need out of one particular coach, but I will say only follow a few and follow their full journey. See what they have to offer over time. Read everything that they have, watch everything that they have, listen to everything that they have. If you can hear about former clients, talk to them. If they're kind of new, but you still want to work with them, listen to the stories that they share about the people that they've helped. It may not have always been for a fee. A lot of times coaches who transition into that space don't realize they've always been coaches, that people have always come to them for advice or guidance. But once they tap into that, a lot of them will start sharing what they do, how they've helped others. And then they'll also share like life lessons that they've learned on their own. But then you do have to be, you really do have to be clear on what you want as your next best step in a coach. I'll just tell my personal example. I thought my issue, because I wanted to start my consulting business like a while ago, especially as soon as I finished my doctoral degree. And I was like, yeah, I can be a consultant, because my mentor at the time said she would help me. I saw what she was doing as a consultant. But then, you know, when egos come up, then it's like, well, kiss the opportunity goodbye, but whatever. So I wanted to do that. So I thought my issue was, oh, I don't really know how to do business. So I got into this business group program, even though I knew that I needed to develop, and I can only say this now, I knew I needed to develop speaking and personal development, right? Because I went to a conference, that was the focus of it. But I heard, I paid more attention to when the business coach got on stage, because I intellectually was like, oh, that's what I need. But my soul was like, that is not what you need right now. But I was like, whatever. So I spent the money to get into that program. That I think this coach was phenomenal. And she shared stories. And she also had clients that were professors who started making all this money, doing things on the side, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know that once I got into it, that all of these insecurities and things would come up. You know, the best, and I can say this now, the best personal development journey that you will ever go through is starting a business and becoming an entrepreneur. I didn't know that. So I realized I wasn't showing up as much on the calls. I wouldn't even turn on my camera. I was shrinking down. And even though I had this PhD, it was just a whole lot of things going on and a lot of things coming up that I didn't deal with. So that led me to hiring. I was like, oh, well, maybe it's that coach. So I spent all this money with her. I was like, okay, I got to get out of this program. It's not working. And then I hired another business coach for significantly less money, but she was more, she was more approachable. Not saying that the other one wasn't, but her structure was different to where she spent more time with her clients. But even still, there were things blocking me and holding me back. And these were like 2019, 2020 programs and things. And it was like, seriously. So they both would see things in me, but I was couldn't see it for myself. And then eventually I got into personal development. And the conference that I went to and the coach that I started working with, that is the one that I ended up working with when my soul was like, this is what you need, but my head was like, no. So I say all that to say, yes, be clear in what you want, but then also pay attention to what your soul needs, because the soul knows more than your head knows. And that requires a level of self-awareness, right? So find out what were you really gravitating towards at the time. And now I can look back and see that, oh, I was reading all of these self-help books. I was just gravitating towards them. And it wasn't anything in business. And then when I was reading some financial books, it was all about the mindset of finances and strategy about finances, but nothing specifically about business. I went to like how to improve my mind, my self-awareness. I started focusing on meditation. So all those things were these giant alarming clues to show me what type of coach I needed. But my head and my ego was like, but we need to get this business started. So I hope that made sense for you. There's nothing wrong with both. But when Oprah did an interview, and one of my coaches actually talked to Oprah, and she asked Oprah, how many coaches did Oprah have? No, Oprah asked her how many coaches she had, and I think my coach at the time said 2. When she asked Oprah, Oprah said she had 5 coaches. Now, you're not hiring all 5 coaches at the same time, but they kind of, and I get it now, they should be on a rotation. They should be on a rotation, right? Depending on which area you need. But notice that they didn't say how many mentors do you have. I'm pretty like, I want to say Maya Angelou was a great mentor to Oprah. I don't know if she was ever her coach, but you can see there's just a difference. So I would say the best time to hire a coach is when now is time you need that one or some specific strategies, and really for someone to hold you accountable, to tell you the truth and see something beyond what you can see and see beyond what they can see. What I love about coaching is that they don't have to be in your exact industry to help you quantum leap to the next level. A lot of times mentors can't do that. Now, remember, I said, if you find one that can, hold on to them tightly, okay? Don't suck the life out of them, but hold on to them, because there are a few out there. What I was going to say, yeah, to quantum leap, to hold you accountable, and someone that's going to tell you the truth when you don't want to know the truth, but they do it in love. A coach should not bash you. They should not make you feel intimidated. I mean, if you feel intimidated, that's because you're like, oh my gosh, you are so, like, that's where I want to be, but not to the point where they make it like unattainable for you. So I hope that makes sense. A coach shouldn't, when you finish talking to a coach, you shouldn't feel ashamed or embarrassed. You should feel empowered. You should feel like they got your life together. You know, they made you clutch some pearls, but they shouldn't make you feel like you are like the worst thing ever. And I'm only speaking about that from experience. You should, say, hire a coach that you actually like. Some people may disagree with that, and you just have to know yourself. Like, I want to like my coaches, and now that I am one, I want my clients to like me as well, and I want to like them. When you're mentoring, so when I say mentoring, like if I do like consulting work, I really don't have to like everybody I consult with, because it's like transactional. I'll respect them, and I want you to respect me, but you're here for this one particular thing. I can show you those steps, and that's cool. But when it comes to coaching, like, I'm invested, we're a partner, I get down into your life, especially the type of coaching that I do, which is transformational work. And the name of my book is How to Become Professionally Powerful Through Personal Empowerment. So it's like a lot of personal things, and you have to like, know, and trust someone that takes you through that journey and get that close with you. So, and it makes it easier. Like, I don't want to have to pull teeth, right? I don't have to push you, to what you said you want to do. I will stretch you and not stress you. So that's another thing. Make sure you get a coach that stretches you, but not stress you. And then what I was gonna say, yeah, that's pretty much. Let me check my notes. Yeah, that's pretty much what I would suggest. Oh, and another thing, I would go, this is just me, I would go for anything personal growth and personal development over like business, finances, or anything else that the coaching industry has to offer, because that's the underlining foundation. That's the foundation for all of those other things to succeed. You can do both. And if you find a coach that deals within mindset, self-awareness, personal growth, like if they do that as a part of their industry, then that's amazing. Like, one of my business coaches, she has mindset. Now, I didn't know this when I signed up, all right? But being in the program, she does a lot of mindset work and shifting moves, a lot, checking yourself. And then, and I was resistant to it at first, which is why I didn't make any moves that first go around. But now that I'm like really back in, and I was like, yeah, That's definitely needed. And that's what I do with my clients as well. We start up here, like we get some things together before we move forward. So I would suggest that either you start with personal growth or mindset first. If you're able to have two, so if it's personal finance and health and wellness, I mean personal finance, personal development and a financial coach, or personal development and a business coach, personal development and a health and wellness coach. I could you if you can if you're able to do so, I would get both, or see if you can find someone that talks about that as a foundational part before they jump into the strategies, because that is also important, because nothing else, your business, health and wellness, relationships, none of that will grow faster than your personal development. And they will only go as far as your personal growth and personal development, because you are everywhere you go. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you learned something. If you have any additional comments or suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. And please comment anyway, because we're in the middle of a giveaway. Regardless of when the videos get posted, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to hear from you. And if you disagree with anything I said, feel free to leave those in the comments down below as well. But make sure you tell me why you disagree. All right, so it has been my pleasure. Thank you for listening and learning with me, because we are all learning and growing together. And remember to be well, be empowered, be bold, and be brilliant. Until next time, bye.